Hi, it's Joy Foster, founder of Techpixies and your host of the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. And I'm really excited today to bring on some very ambitious women who have created a wonderful clothing company. And of course, we were attracted to them because they have stars all over their amazing clothing. And we love stars here at Techpixies, as you know, if you've been following us for some time. So I want to welcome Han and Jess to the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. They are the founders of Pom Tidly Pom. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, thank you.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
We're so excited that you're here. I know we have a lot of creators in our audience who are creating their own clothing companies, and they're always curious to hear from people who have made it happen and learn from them. So I'd love for you to start by telling the story of your business. I know you didn't start out doing clothing and mugs and posters and everything else. Tell us about how you got started.
Okay, do you want to go?
Yeah. So it started because this sort of time of year we were trying to work out how teacher gifts. I'm a teacher as well, and we thought, oh, what can we do that's a little bit different? So we started off. There was 3 of us, and we started making pom Christmas puddings for teachers as teacher gifts to put on their Christmas trees. And they were like, oh, we love a pom, and then we kept just making pom related things, and that was the business for a good year and a bit. It was all pom made, but it was just very labor intensive for very little gain other than the pure happiness that we had, and we hope
Had a bit of an effect on our fingers.
We had some serious repetitive strain injury, but and then our lovely friend Hannah, who we started off with, decided she wanted to take a slightly different route, and she's massively into running, so she's got her own little
supportive network of
runners. She's at Just a Little Jog, so she's amazing, and she's so supportive of us, still supports us, and we still hang out with her loads and everything. So that was a good place to
And then, I love what you've said, because you're talking about the evolution of, you start with one idea, and then as it evolves, you change, and people who came in and started with you might not be with you. What got you here won't get you there. I mean, I have had that experience myself when I built my second company, which was Made with Joy. I had a business partner, and he helped me build the platform for Techpixies, but then he moved on to other things, and we're still really good friends, and we still got a great relationship, and it's great to see him thriving doing what he's doing, and we're thriving doing what we're doing. And it's a wonderful thing when those partnerships move, when they separate, but they separate in a good way.
Definitely.
So it sounds like you've done that, and things have changed and moved on from the labor intensive palm making with your fingers,
the labor intensive clothing.
Yeah. So I think it was something we always had an interest in, didn't we?
Yeah. And we I think growing up as well, we'd always wanted to do something together as well.
Always. And we didn't know what that was. And we tried and failed at several things, and constantly had ideas all the time. We were always going to our mum and dad saying, right, we've had this idea. And
we'd be like,
and they were so good. They never once said, don't do it. It's not going to work. They always sat, listened, and said, okay, until we'd finished. And then we kind of tried a little bit and thought, actually, I'm not sure this is going to work. After all, we had a few of those.
We did, but then this was the one that Dad was like, I like it. I really like it.
Let's talk about your dad, because the polar bear, which is I'm wearing, Jim.
Yeah.
So is Jim your dad's name? Did you name the polar bear after your dad? So tell me about your dad and why you named the polar bear Jim.
We did. So the polar bear, our dad, he gave the best bear hugs. We always said that, and the grandchildren always said that, the best bear hugs. And so it had to be a bear. It was around Christmas. It's got to be, we love a polar bear. We love a bear. Yeah. And we thought, well, obviously he's going to be called Jim. So here he is. And you are
giving hugs out as well.
Supporting him very well. Exactly. And after after this last year and everything, just giving out more hugs than, that we have had over the last year. So that's kind of where that came from. The star also is a massive nod to our dad. So we've got it in our logo. We put it on all our clothes. See that? in whatever we create, there's always a little star somewhere, and it's just a little nod to him for all his support. And he was our biggest fan, wasn't he? And he did a very similar thing that you're doing. He was a business coach, and he helped so many businesses from the ground up. And it wasn't until after we sadly lost him 2 years ago, and sort of after he passed away, so many people contacted us and saying how much he'd helped them and with their businesses, and I don't think we realised quite how much he'd helped. And unfortunately, our business wasn't at the point where we kind of really needed him, and it's like we really need to know. It's like what would he say to us now? What would he tell us? So we kind of try and tune in and just sort of think what he would say, and so we include that in everything we do. So he's sort of with us all the time, and so that's a really big part of what we do, and all our designs and everything. That's kind of carrying us through.
Well, I can see Jess sipping from her Stronger Than Ever mug. Show that off a little bit. I know not everyone's going to be able to see it, but this is a fabulous mug, and it says Stronger Than Ever. And of course, I've got the top as well and the matching mug to go with it. I feel empowered when I drink out of that mug. Where did the Stronger Than Ever sort of come from?
I think that's sort of grown over time. I know, over periods of life, you sort of have these times where things are really hard, and obviously everyone's had particularly tough times these last 2 years. And it kind of just grew from there. I know I was chatting to one of my really good friends who does coaching, and we were sort of talking about it, and then
need to feel stronger.
To feel stronger, but it was kind of the outside people as well that kind of made you sort of brought us to that point. Having all our amazing friends and family and support around us kind of makes you go, do you know what? We can do this, even if we don't feel like that every time. You still got that point where there's something there, and you've got all that support that can help you to get to that point. And I know we've had such great response from that, with t-shirts, the jumpers, the mugs, because various people have felt the same way,
phrase, didn't it? Really? And then throughout lockdown, it became a really quite a strong design for us. That was for whatever reason, people were placing orders, but they would follow it with a message to say, my family member's going through a really hard time, or they're having cancer treatment, and I really want to get them this t-shirt. And so it was really quite powerful stuff. All these different stories from people that were going through all these different things, and they wanted to gift their friends or family one of these things because it would lift them up and make them feel more stronger and empowered. And it was really it made us feel like that too, didn't it? Because we were sort of realizing what effect it was having on other people. And I know sort of on the sort of tougher days, like, right, I'm going to put my Stronger Than Ever jumper on today. I've got this. It does kind of makes you feel a bit like, come on, let's do this.
People would do it for themselves as well. It wasn't just a gift.
No, it wasn't just
a lot of people like, you know what? Yeah, I want to wear this. I want to do this.
Yeah, that's become a really nice positive thing.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I feel empowered when I'm wearing the sweatshirt or when I've got the mug.
Amazing.
But you've also got some really fun stuff, with inspired, I would imagine, by the initial origins of your company, but really poppy colors, these beautiful earrings, which are going into our Fab Box, which is a great opportunity to just quickly plug our Fab Box. We're doing a giveaway. I know we've got already several hundred people who've entered this. We're giving away 5 boxes, and it's techpixies.com/giveaway. And in the box, we have stuff from Techpixies, so the Techpixies highlighters and the Techpixies snug and stuff like that. But we also have wonderful gifts in there from Pom Tidly Pom, like a running, what would you call this?
A running headband. Yoga headband, whatever you want to do. Not everyone has to run.
Yeah, a walking headband, a jogging headband, a workout headband, and we also have some amazing earrings. So those are all going into the box with several other things from our students that we like to showcase the students who are getting started getting started on their way into the business that you've got now. So a lot of women will come into Techpixies and they have an idea for a business like yours, but they don't necessarily know how to move forward with it, particularly with social media. So we don't teach them how to start a clothing business. We've actually got an amazing student named Paula Cannon, and she does that if people are interested in that. But really what we're about is saying, okay, you've got an idea, but you've got to take off your invisibility cloak and become visible on social media in order to get that idea out there. So let's talk about what it's like when you were, what it was like when you were just starting out, and how you had to overcome your fear of being visible and take off that invisibility cloak to become visible on social media in order to get your product out there. What has social media been a key factor in the growth of your business?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is really important to put yourself out there. It's absolutely, it's scary. It's really scary to do, and I think we've still got a long way to go on that, for sure.
We're gradually pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. We've got a way to go.
Yeah.
It is something that it's a bit of a progression, isn't it?
Definitely.
And you hide away initially, and then you realize that actually that people want to support you as well, and they want to see what you're doing, and it becomes a bit more of a personal thing rather than just seeing what you're selling. Or if you kind of put yourself out there as well, you're putting sort of more heart into it, and people can relate a little bit more, which is what we found. So we're trying to be a bit more present.
Yeah, it's really important about being really true to what you believe in as well. And it's so easy because you think, oh, I've got to post something, and sometimes it's not really what you want to post. So we have done a few of those, but actually being true to yourself and going, no, this is what we're about. This is what we need to do. That's kind of, we need to definitely do more of that. We need to get better at that. But we've sort of found our way a little bit more that is what we want, because we do definitely get a better response from people when it is something that is quite personal and sort of shows what we do. So we're learning.
Well, I always say, sorry.
No, just it's a work in progress. That's the thing. I think you learn so much along the way. If we look back from where we first started, we've learned so much along the way, and we continue to every single day, don't we, in everything we do. So, but that's what it's all about. That's the fun of it. So.
Well, and I think what you learn is people buy from people, and that's what I've always said. You can have a brand, you can have a business, but at the end of the day, people buy from people. And if they know your story and they know who you are and they know like you're a real person, and they know like the story of Jim, it just makes and the story of the stars, it just takes it to another level of personalization. And I think people are starting to really realize, especially since we can't meet each other in person, that these stories have to come across digitally, and they have to come across on social media and in our email newsletters and on our website and in our podcasts and on our blog posts. We've got to weave our story in and out. And people think as well, I can't tell the story over and over again. You can, because people hear the story a different way each time, and they hear something that they didn't hear before. And I can so relate to you, and I'm sure there's other people listening to this who've lost their father. I lost my father when I was in my 20s, and that massively impacted the decisions I made after that. In fact, I would be probably working in a corporate job if my dad was still alive. But, it was the fact that my dad had died, and I thought, oh my gosh, life is short. I'm going to change my path, and I'm going to pursue what I love. And that's when I went and did archery. And then archery, led me to going to the Olympics, where I got to, meet my husband, got engaged to my husband and moved to Europe. And, you just think these if you tell your story, it connects with people on a different level. And so I think the point is that it's a wonderful way to really bring the brand to life, and really bring the purpose behind the brand to life. And also the way in my business where we're coaching people, it's also why do I care about coaching, right? Because I needed coaching to get through all of that, and I understand and see where the value of that is. But I think that's really great. So tell us what your favorite social media network is, or your favorite two or so. Which ones are working for you, for your business?
So Instagram's probably our favorite. Just think it's quite accessible, and we found a lot of people that we really like on there, and
like-minded people.
Yeah, and it's really
supportive.
Very supportive. There's a really lovely community, and I think that's what's really important to do, build that nice community.
Yeah.
We do a bit of Facebook. I have to say this one's more of the Facebook one because I came off Facebook a while ago. But we do use it for our
slightly different
Pom account.
Reaches a few different.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Audiences.
It hits. So I think you probably do need both. But I think Instagram's definitely
the main one, is
the favourite.
And have you dived in the world of Pinterest yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, we use it,
Pinterest, but we not on
it. We have got an account, however, it's definitely work in progress. Also, my husband set that up for us. He's been the tech guy for us a lot of the time. He's been
use it a lot for inspiration and stuff. It's amazing, but
for personal things. But we do need to probably make more of that one because I know it's a good one, isn't it?
That's definitely the one we're finding trending for because it's evergreen. And I think there's, and this is something I think it's important if people are listening to this and they're going, well, what's evergreen, what's not evergreen? Instagram and Facebook are and Twitter are very much like timely. And the stuff you put onto those, it sort of disappears after a while and you don't see it again. Like once, it doesn't, unless it sort of picks up and gets shared a lot and you get a lot of comments and reactions or get some ad spend behind it, it sort of dies. And LinkedIn dies too, but it dies a little bit slower. But what I would say is what we're seeing at the moment in trend wise is that YouTube and Pinterest are very evergreen. And so they are effectively SEO, search engine optimization tools. Mm-hmm. So, Pinterest being a visual search engine, and then you've got YouTube being a video search engine. But what we're finding is people, the views for videos build over time. The views for pins build over time and so they're much more long lasting, which is also why, especially with Pinterest, it's important to make sure your links are correct and they're not broken. And also important to make sure that, your references in YouTube are also linking to things that are not broken, because that stuff lasts over time. And I just heard a great talk on YouTube, thumbnail images, and they were talking about the importance of the evergreen element of YouTube. So I think it's also important for people to understand the differences between the networks, where one is more I think it's ephemeral is the word we say. It sort of disappears after a short period of time. And then you've got something that's much more evergreen, long lasting that shows up in the search. So that's it's an interesting thing to talk about. I thought we are a social media training company, so we do need to make sure we are on our.
No, and we think when we get to the point we might need to come and have a little bit more time with you.
Yeah, we do. We're at that next level now where we're kind of like, right, now what? We need help.
Yeah, we're doing what we can, but I think exactly. We need to bring the experts in.
Well, there's a CPD module for that. I can tell you that much. No, we'd love to work with you.
Me too.
What I'd love to also talk about are some of the lessons that you've learned in building this company. Probably more from, we talked a little bit about the fact that we do a lot of coaching and we work with a lot of women starting up businesses. What lessons have you learned that would be valuable to share with women who are trying to start a clothing business or a product business?
I think initially, like we've said, we've had so many different ideas and some have worked, some haven't. But I think it's just finding that thing that you are super passionate about and you go, do you know what? I'll give it a shot. We'll work it out a little bit along the way. I know that's not probably the best advice always, but initially so long as you're passionate about it, you'll put everything you've got into it.
Yeah, and then I think if it gets to a certain point where you think, we want to take this a bit further, a business plan's always a good idea.
Always a good idea.
And then
again, something
our dad probably constantly telling us, write a business plan. We're just like,
still need to write the business plan.
So much fun making everything. And
that is such an important point, because I remember when I first started out, in order to get funding, I had to put forward a financial plan and a business plan. Yeah. And I actually think that's what helped the company move forward, because someone forced me to do it. And I think and I don't want to pigeonhole women, but I think a lot of female-led businesses are creative, and we get really into the creation and we get really into the serving, and it's like, oh wait, I got to do that business thing too.
Totally, 100%. Yeah. And we've got yeah, my husband in the background going, come on as well.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Tries to pull us back around. Stop. That's enough now. Stop
reins
making.
us in, doesn't it?
He does.
Like, come on.
That's handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I think, but that's a great lesson to learn. So get it on paper.
It is.
Yeah. And I tell people in our progression membership, so we have a membership for women who've completed our program and they want to go further. And really what they need is accountability. And then they need some help working through blocks that come up as they go into new territory. But one of the things that I say when we do our January quarterly planning, which we'll be doing soon, because this is being filmed in December, but we will sit down and we'll say, okay, put a number down for the year. You know, like what would you like to see in your bank account, you know, coming out of your business? And it's really interesting because often people will write down a number and then they'll erase it and put a lower number. And it's like, no, keep the number that your gut told you that you wanted to do, and let's focus on that. But also, I have to remind people, like, you also have to be very specific to God, to the universe, that, you know, this is the number you want after taxes, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've learned that lesson. You're like, okay, this is how much I want to make. And then you're like, oh, wait, actually, I forgot about taxes. Next year, I'm going to take into account taxes.
Yeah,
that's it. Live and learn, constantly live and learn.
Absolutely. All right. So tell us, just to shift gears again back to social media, I just wanted to say, I know you said Instagram was working for you. Is there anything in particular that's working for you on Instagram?
Well, again, this is something it's work in progress. We have realized that when we do reels or videos or things like that, that gets a much better response and people relate a lot more because you're actually physically present.
Another thing that's really good is if you get Dan Walker to wear your and Nadia to wear your sweatshirts or hoodies, then that generates quite a lot of
if you can find a celebrity to wear your gear, that's a winner too.
So tell us the story behind that. How were you able to get a celebrity to wear your polar bear?
He is just the nicest man, I have to say. We just messaged him on Instagram. It really was just as simple as that.
He's local. He lives in Sheffield.
Yeah, and we just said with two sisters from Sheffield, and would you be interested? Would you like one of our hoodies?
And the Sheffield, we've got a very Sheffield design, which is the Seven Hills,
which has been very popular, since he wore it particularly. And he immediately, we just saw Dan Walker typing, and we're like, and he responded immediately, and he's continued to send little messages and
thank us for the support, and it's been vice versa. It's been really lovely.
And Nadia as well. And we were lucky enough to meet him, my son and I, because we went to the studio where they train, and that was, we didn't know that was happening, but it was the best surprise ever. Yeah. And my little boy had worn his Seven Hills hoodie just in case. I was like, yay, legend.
I love that. Well, now this is interesting because a lot of people are like, I know when women are just starting out, they're like, I don't have the margin to give stuff away. I don't have the margin to get stuff in front of people. How did you shift your mindset on that in order to abundantly give and be able to create this network of people who really want to support you and wear your stuff and shout about you?
I was going to say, one, this is a bit of our problem. Like, we love giving stuff away. we really love it, and it makes us so happy. It's like one of the best things. We love people to wear it. We just love it. Yeah. So we like,
oh, hang on, are we running a business? Hang on. Yeah. People to pay for our stuff.
Yeah, we're not the best at that, to be perfectly honest.
So yeah, we've reined that in a little bit, but we're kind of looking at it as a way of marketing. So you may pay
adverts or
pay for adverts. Yeah. It's kind of another way of doing that. So you're just putting your money into a different place,
and also hopefully making people a little bit happy at the same time.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's sort of spreading the love as well, isn't it? And it's just another way of sort of putting your money in these different pots for different areas of marketing and just sort of different ways of getting our things out there. And so if you spot a kind of opportunity like that,
you've got to try. Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty that we have tried and had no response, which totally understandable.
I think it's just something. I think you need to just think, I can't afford this. It's like giving our stock away. I think you just have to think, no, this is
an advertising campaign.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. But I think it's important for people to realize that, yeah, there's different ways to get your marketing out there. One of them is offering a discount to people to join your mailing list. Another one is having a micro influencer or an influencer wear your stuff. And it's about, it's about reaching out to the right people and also reaching out. You didn't know if he was going to respond or not, but you went ahead and reached out, and then it's created a relationship that you can build on.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's a very busy man at the moment. But, he's
it's all positive. It's a really positive experience. Yeah,
that's great. Well, now when this episode airs onto the podcast, I think the Fab Box giveaway is going to be finished. So the winners will have had their boxes. I think the 10th of December is when we are actually drawing the names. But that does not mean that there's not a special gift for those of you who are listening now. And that is that Pom Tidly Pom, Han and Jess have given us a discount code for Techpixies. So you type in Techpixies 10 and you'll get a discount on the pomtidlypom.co.uk website, which is where you can find all of their stuff. And on Instagram, it's at Pom Tidly Pom with 2 Ds. My Americanness had to keep 2 Ds. So, but yeah, so definitely check that out. Definitely, if you're watching this live, or even if you're listening to this when it comes out, pop over to their website and benefit from that nice little gift that they've given us. And I want to thank you so much for your time today, both of you, and also for the vulnerability, to share the journey and also the inspiration. But what I know about the two of you and love about the two of you is your positivity, and of course that's something that we are huge on at Techpixies is, keeping a positive mindset, keeping a positive frame of mind, believing that you will make progress if you keep moving forwards. Yeah, and I think you guys are doing that, and I love that about you. And
thank you. We try.
And I want to say thank you for donating to our Fab Box series, and also basically being our headline sponsor for this whole series on products where we've been interviewing.
Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for reaching out to us as well.
Yeah, and all your help, and we'll certainly need more of your help.
We definitely will.
Yeah. You're our next port of call.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, that sounds like a great plan, and of course, you know how much I love stars, so I can't really help myself when I'm helping people who love stars. So we're good to go. But thanks again for your time today, and thanks as well to those of you who were listening live or watching live. One of the comments that came through was from Julia about our cup of courage. So you were talking about you're stronger than ever. At Techpixies, when our students complete all of their certification for the 5 social media networks that we actively teach, which is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We don't teach Twitter at the moment. Twitter's like a bonus. But we Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube. When they finish their CPD certification for both the essentials and the expert modules, they get a cup of courage. And that's to help them as they go forward to get their next certification, which is a social media management certification, which does take a bit of courage to put through.
That's brilliant. That's really nice.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And Claire's watching. She says she loved this. What fabulous ladies. I couldn't agree more, Claire. And I want to thank our listeners, thank our watchers, and of course, you know where we are. If you want to listen to more inspirational interviews, it's the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. And recently, what I noticed, and I hadn't really clocked how quickly these had built up, but we have a lot of reviews, 5-star reviews on the podcast page. And I would just want to, if any of you who are listening right now have left a review, I want to say thank you so much for doing that. It means a lot to me, especially when we were just finalists in the podcast of the year for Digital Women. But I want to highlight one that came up recently. And she said, I've been listening to this podcast every week for the last few months, and every episode leaves me with great nuggets of information to take away and either reflect on or implement in my own business. I recommend it to anyone who is looking to boost their social media skills, and also to women who need a little help finding their way again. So I appreciate that.
Fully agree with that.
Fully agree.
Yeah, we've been listening. Yeah, massive well done.
Brilliant. Well deserved.
Well, I want to say thank you to the person who left that, but also encourage people, if these episodes do inspire you, to go on and let us know and feedback. But also you can listen to all the podcasts at techpixies.com/podcast. Thanks again, Han and Jess.
Thank you so much, Joy.
I hope everyone has a wonderful end of the year and start to the new year.
And you too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.